What's up there, Misfit? Welcome to Pages of Ascension. Of course, welcome back if you've been hanging out with me for a little bit. Quick announcement. Very, very quick. So these readings might be a little on the slower end. I injured my hand a little bit yesterday, so I've got to go a little bit slower so I don't do more damage, if that makes sense. So yeah, just be aware of that. It won't move quite as quickly as it normally does, okay? So, this reading is for your next 30-day period. This is for the sign of Aquarius, so welcome. And this reading is not traditional in the sense that I use tarot as the primary deck. It is a deck that I do use, but it happens a little bit towards the end of the reading. So make sure you stick around for that, because there's always more messages, more clarification that comes through with the tarot when combined with these, okay? So that said, the primary cards that I am using for your reading are the Lenormand and the Kipper systems, okay? So let's get a little bit of fine print out of the way, shall we? So I am an adult. I do use adult language. If that's something that you're not comfortable with, this is a good time to exit stage left, because it means I'm probably not the reader for you, okay? No big deal. Plenty of kick-ass people on YouTube. I'm sure you can find someone who uses the language you prefer, okay, love? So, let's see here. As far as pronouns are concerned, please go with what you identify as. This is an inclusive channel, okay? And of course, last but not least, if you are interested in a private or personalized reading, you can find those over on my website at the bottom of your screen. It'll take you to POACreator.com. Go ahead and poke around there and see if there's anything that interests you, okay? All right, so let's get one more card out. There we go. Alrighty. You know, it's funny, as kids, we're always so fearless, right? It's like we fall, it's like, whatever, B. You get back up and do what you gotta do. But when you fall as an adult, I swear, you hurt like you've been on like a 30-day bender or something. Like, oh my goodness, my arms are so sore right now. Anyway, so, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, so there's a lot of communication coming in, Aquarius, and I do feel like it's concerning a feminine energy, perhaps a feminine child energy, okay? Now, for whatever reason, I do feel like I want to, I feel the need to say to you specifically that this child energy may not necessarily still be a child, as in within the ages of children between 0 and the age of 18. This could be someone who is older than that. They are an adult, but they're still a kid to you type of thing. Anyways. So yeah, I do feel like there's repeated messages coming through. There might even be a little bit of gossip about this person. It's just the repetition of messages is really all that's coming out with this reading so far. So let's go ahead and hop into the Kipper for you, okay? Whew. Alright, can I get a card for... Okay, this might have something to do with court. This court stuff keeps coming up. Like, I find that particularly interesting given the times that we're in as I'm doing this reading. That time of that thing that shall not be named. Yeah, okay. So this is taking an interesting turn. So we've got courthouse and official person landing under the whip. So this is like repeated messages, repeated phone calls, possibly about something to do with the legal system. And then, of course, with the imprisonment card coming out, after, or excuse me, under the letter. Let's see here, what else do we got? Okay, I just saw you flip where you go. Occupation. Okay. So some of you might be dealing with someone who works as like a corrections officer is kind of what I'm thinking, or some type of officer of the court. But what I was going to say before this occupation came out is that this kind of reminds me, because of all the communication that is surrounding this, is like getting a call from someone who's in jail. Okay, or someone who's in prison, like, you know, you've got a call from such and such penitentiary, do you accept, that type of thing. Okay, and I would even say these are repeated calls or repeated messages of this person possibly trying to get a hold of you. Okay, on another end, we could be looking at someone who is getting I would actually say released from whatever occupation that they're in. They find it to be very, this is someone who doesn't particularly like where they're at or what they're doing, and they're looking for a way out. And this almost reminds me of kind of like a pink slip with what's kind of coming out here. So it's possible some of you might be getting pink slipped, or you're hearing about other people getting pink slipped. I'm feeling like this is more of you hearing that stuff, like this is information coming towards you, than this is necessarily information about you, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so, ooh. Okay, so yeah, definitely a feminine child. So underneath the birds, we've got gift, and we've got community. So you could possibly be getting some type of gifts from the community at large, with money coming out, or technically a gift does not necessarily mean money, but I'm picking up money, so we could be talking like donations or something, if your business is set up for that kind of thing. But ultimately, this could just be talking about positive communication within the community about you. Okay. So moving on to the snake, and underneath that we've got the child, which tells me again that we're talking about a feminine child energy, or at least that is younger than you. Okay. And then with toil and labor, yeah, and again, this is coming back to me feeling like I need to say to you, this is not necessarily someone who is of childhood age. It's possible you've even known this person since they were a child, but there's something about work specifically with this feminine energy. Now, it's not really telling me what that is, with the exception of that this person like seems to be working very hard. It's possible they do some type of manual labor. Okay, but let's look at this stork and see what else we've got here. Okay, so that's interesting. Can you get one more, please? Thank you much. Okay. So we've got lovers and privileged lady popping up underneath the stork. So what that makes me think, like, just this combination over here, it's possible that some of you are going to end up meeting someone at a place of employment, okay, and there's going to be some type of connection there that could result in a feminine child, okay. I do feel like one of the two of you is very privileged. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but if you start hearing doors slamming and feet and dogs and stuff, I can't control any of that. So, bear with me. So, in any case, this is really kind of looking pretty straightforward. If there's a possibility of someone who is in jail or in prison, they're going to be contacting you. This is a highly communicative 30 days for you. I would even say words of praise coming in from the surrounding community that you're in, okay, whether that's a work community or a personal community in some way, okay, and the potential of meeting someone who and getting together with this person may actually result in a feminine child, okay? You know, and at its very most basic, this child is going to be a very hard worker. It's not giving like signs or anything like that, you know. Just Kipper and Lenormand. If they do that, that's not something that I'm aware of. But yeah, and I do see some type of leveling up in status in connecting with this person, whoever that is, okay? So let's go ahead and look at what your soul's trying to get through to you. So it says, reveal the truth that has long been hidden. I don't know if you guys can hear them laughing or not, but I totally can. It's a tiny bit distracting. Okay, so anyways, with this particular card, this stands for the Angel of Truth. So, you know, it's possible that somewhere within this communication there's been something that has been hidden, something that has been kept from you, okay, information-wise. Now, what I always find about this particular card is the DNA strand. There's a double helix. I don't know if y'all can see it from here, but there's a double helix right here where the tip of my finger is, okay? And it's sitting right over her solar plexus in her, or excuse me, her heart and her solar plexus. So this is like a truth that it could just be one of those scenarios where your truth in something and not necessarily the truth, because you know there's that saying, there's their truth and then their truth and then the truth, kind of like that, okay? So there is some hidden information I do feel like that's going to come to light. It may even come through repeated messages for you from multiple people. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and look at the advice that Spirit has for you. Now, you got 2 cards, which is odd because no one else has gotten 2 cards yet. Oh, okay. So Beore, which is birch, if I'm not mistaken. So that tells me, or Burkana, excuse me. That's what I know it as, is Burkana. So the Burkana card, Beore, birch, whatnot, can also stand for birth. Okay, so you know, this is kind of going back to that, whoever this particular person is that you may be meeting that could result in a feminine energy, and that's if some of you already aren't with child, and that's very much a possibility. You could be finding out within the next 30 days that it's a girl. Congratulations if that's the case, okay? Oh, I like it! Okay, so the second card that you got is Soul, or sun. It stands for the sun. So Sowilo, okay, is what I know it by. And yeah, the sun is shining on you. There's growth. There will be happiness. And you know, this is one of those few instances where I feel like the snake card isn't necessarily bad, because I hate to see it come up in Lenormand. It's probably one of my least favorite cards outside of mice. Okay. But I do feel like, you know, if we are talking about, you know, pregnancy here, I do feel like this is something that's going to make you very happy. Maybe even something that you've been wanting for some time. I feel like this person is going to make you very happy. And, you know, overall speaking, the connection with this person is going to level you up in some way. We could be talking financially, but I'm not necessarily seeing that. I just think it might be within just your everyday life quality, if that means like leveling up your life quality. So let's go ahead and dig into the tarot and see what else we can pick up for you. Now this is going to be real interesting trying to shuffle these. Yeah. I think I just need to ice it and let it rest, but I'll have to do that after I get a couple of these readings done, because yeah. I'm very intent on keeping my schedule, darn it. Alright, so normally for this section of the reading, I use the Tarot of New Vision, And I wasn't feeling called to do that for the readings for this next 30-day period. So I went ahead and pulled out the Hermetic Tarot because that's what I was really drawn to. So expect some really powerful messages to come out of these. That is typically what happens with this particular deck. So let's go ahead and get started here. Can I get a card for Courthouse, Official Person, and Whip, please? Alright. So we have Fortitude that popped out, which is Daughter of the Flaming Sword. So this card stands for its strength in like the typical Rider-Waite deck, okay? So some of you could be dealing with North Node issues right now, trying to step into that purpose, and somehow that relates to a law enforcement or the court system in some kind of way, okay? It's possible that, like, you could be dealing with a Leo in court. You might have to go to court during Leo season. But Leo's kind of figuring very prominently here. That's another fixed sign like yourself. And then with Strength being here, if you are dealing with a court case, what the Fortitude card is saying is that you've got the strength to get through this. So it's all good. It's all good, okay? So on top of the letter, imprisonment, and occupation, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, all right? And that is Lord of the Wild and Fertile Land. So, I feel like something about this release or this potential pink slip for some of you from this job is going to ignite movement in you. We could be looking at North Node Virgo specifically. Yeah, it's like there's something that you've been waiting to harvest, and it's almost like whatever job that you've been doing has somehow been interfering in that. And I do feel like that interference is on its way out. Okay. Now, in regards to if this is like a call from someone who's in jail or in prison or something like that, it's some information that's going to come to light talking to that person that is going to spur you to action. Now, granted, the Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving energy, okay? We're talking years here, like, home dude takes his time, okay? So when I'm saying it's going to stir movement, I do mean it's going to stir movement, as in it might kind of get the wheels turning, get you start thinking about different approaches that you might could take to something or in dealing with someone. But I still feel like the actual physical action of that, of from thought to action, that whole timeline of that, we're still looking at a little bit of time before that fully comes into pass, okay? But I do feel like it starts with this communication. Now, whether that's, again, a pink slip or a call from someone who's in jail or prison, okay? So in our next pile, we have the King of Cups, which is the Prince of the Chariot of Waters, okay? And then we have the Nine of Swords, which is Lord of Despair and Cruelty. So, that's interesting. So the King of Cups can be a character that's very emotionally reserved. And with it being next to the Nine of Swords, he's not exactly well aspected for me. Okay, I feel like this is someone who is in a lot of emotional turmoil. They're not speaking about what they're going through. So it's like everything looks very still on the surface. But like if you were to compare this to bodies of water, given it's, you know, the King of Cups, you know, it would look like a calm ocean on the front, but inside of them, there's literally a hurricane going on within them, okay? And this is someone in the community, likely, this could be someone who's giving some type of gift to you as a means to kind of get themselves in the door. I mean, I feel like this person may have something that they specifically need to say to you. Not necessarily about you, but it could be about the community that you are involved in. There is a gift coming in. So, you know, this could be just a gift of communication. Like someone opening up and saying, hey, you know, I know things seem fine, but here are my fears in going into this, or here are my fears stepping into this new project or stepping into this partnership. And that's going to give its own sense of enlightenment for you, to kind of help you know which way to move. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to our last two sections. Okay, yeah. Whew, okay. So 8 of Wands, Lord of Swiftness. And that's falling under Snake Child and Toil and Labor. So 8 of Wands is definitely quick communication for sure. Okay, it's ruled by Mercury. But I do feel like this child, whoever this child is, again, younger than you, not necessarily of the age of children. I don't know why that's so important, but you know, there it is coming up for the third time. You know, there's information coming in about this person. It's just a lot of communication, a lot of information. Like that's basically what you're reading is saying overall. For those of you that are either trying to have children, or you currently are pregnant, or something in the realms of pregnancy and children, whatever that may be for you, I feel like whatever it is you're working towards within that is going to come very quickly, okay? Or you're going to get news very quickly. So it could be you're trying to get pregnant and the first time you try, you succeed. You know, if you're in IVF or something like that, the first time you try, you succeed. You know, the first time you go in for the ultrasound to find out the sex of the baby, here she is like, hey, you know, letting you know it's a girl. It could be any number of those things, but I do feel like that information comes in quickly for you, okay? So, yeah, the one thing I can say for sure, Aquarius, is that your month is going to be filled with probably an obscene amount of communication for y'all. There's lots of information coming in towards you. And as a result of that, I feel like whatever it was that was kind of sitting like on the back burner, or maybe things you weren't sure about, or maybe even things you were asking the universe about to like clarify for you specifically, those answers are going to be coming in through the forms of communications from people outside of you. Okay, so our last pile here is the Ace of Swords. What did I just say? Communication. That's really all that's coming up for you guys, which, you know, I suppose it's nice that it's like pretty darn straightforward, but I guess it doesn't really make for that exciting of a reading. So in regards to the Storks and Lovers and Privileged Lady with the Ace of Swords, that's Lord of the Root of the Powers of Air. So again, more communication coming through for you, and to you. And you know, I'm probably going to end up calling your reading that, because that's legitimately what we've got here. A 30-day period full of communication, most of it positive. And you know, for some of you, we're looking at a blessing as well, okay, of children. So we're going to go ahead and call that here. So if you got anything out of this reading, don't forget to like and share, and definitely subscribe, because Aquarius, you have a shadow reading coming up a little bit later here in over these next couple of weeks. All right, so I hope I see you over there. And with that, your peace is your power, and I'll see you next time. Bye.